Liverpool 2, Manchester United 2, and on reflection of the game, I think a point is a very fair result for both teams. It was quite a balanced, equal game with United causing some threatening moments, Liverpool having some threatening moments. It looked quite end-to-end towards the end, and I was kind of surprised that when Liverpool went 2-1 up, they didn't control the game and make it 3-1, because I thought, Man United have done so well to this moment, penalty, Liverpool 2-1 up. I said, Man United are going to crash, the momentum's going to go Liverpool's way, and they're going to win the game 3-1. So as a Man United fan, for us to actually put in a competitive performance where we took you to the very last minute, we maybe could even won it at the end with Maguire, but I think maybe Xerxes was offside, I'm not sure. The fact that we were in that game to the very end, the fact that it was a very equal game where I think a point was a fair score and reflection of the game, and the fact that we responded to going 2-1 down, I was really, really happy, because going into that game, where Liverpool have been at versus West Ham and Man United versus Newcastle, I think everybody fancied Liverpool, and Amram must have got the Man United players up and firing. So I think I'm going to be a lot happier than Liverpool fans. That being said, Liverpool still win the league. They still better. They weren't at the best today, but they're still better than Arsenal. They're 6 points clear of the game in hand. Sadly, they still win the league. But 4 big chances for Liverpool, 3 big chances for United. I know Liverpool's XG is higher, obviously partly because of the penalty, but I think it was a very balanced game. I know Allister and Gakpo had early chances. Ahmad had an early chance. Hoyland had an opportunity. Maguire had an opportunity. Nana made a few good saves. And I will say one thing. Liverpool missed Szoboszlai today. The one thing, and I'm saying this as a Manchester United fan, that I was very glad about was when I saw that Szoboszlai wasn't in that lineup for Liverpool. Now, if you're wondering what my thoughts are on Man United, I have my own channel called Alice Talks Football, which does Man United only content. So I've already done a match reaction to the game where I'm speaking about Man United. And this match reaction, I'm purely just going to talk about Liverpool. But in my other channel, I speak about United. But as a Man United fan, I was really happy to not see Szoboszlai in that lineup, because his pressing, his energy, his everything caused us so many problems when we lost 3-0. Diaz and Szoboszlai were the two players I was actually most concerned about causing us issues. And I think Curtis Jones was excellent versus West Ham, and he's been good lately, but he just didn't look anywhere near his best for me today. And I felt that what Szoboszlai brings, his energy, was what Liverpool really needed today. And I believe he was ill and wasn't on the bench. I'm surprised that Elliott didn't get on quicker, and maybe Slot, who has been pretty faultless this season with his substitutions, with his changes at halftime, could have potentially brought Elliott on earlier, maybe Connor Bradley on earlier. But I thought Szoboszlai was definitely someone I noticed was missing for Liverpool today, and I was very relieved of that as a Man United fan, because I noticed that Liverpool, particularly in the first half, Liverpool were a lot better in the second half. But what was weird about Liverpool was Man United have been very shaky this season. We've been very shaky. We are lacking confidence. I think if we'd gone 1-0 down within 10 minutes, it could have ended 3-0 Liverpool with that kind of team. But Liverpool didn't really press us on the ball. When Liverpool came to Old Trafford, you guys were on us. Like, Casemiro gave the ball away twice, which resulted in one of the goals. And I think Maynard gave the ball away once, which resulted in the third goal. And you won 3-0 from winning the ball back 3 times. Obviously, we didn't have Casemiro in midfield, but you didn't press us like you did. You didn't get at our centre-backs like Diaz and Szoboszlai did last time, which caused us a lot of issues. And I don't know if that's because of Szoboszlai's presence being missed. He's one of your best players for that. But I felt as a United fan, I was really relieved that Liverpool didn't have the intensity they did in the Old Trafford game. They didn't press us like crazy. Maybe they underestimated United. Maybe, they were tired from West Ham. Who knows? I think as a United fan, we were quite lucky in the sense of to have Bruno Ugarte back. We had a full week's rest, because Bruno Fernandes and Manuel Ugarte were Man United's 2 best players. I think the 3 best players on the pitch were McAllister, Ugarte, and Bruno Fernandes today. So to have them back, it was massive from Man United perspective that we were very fresh with the legs in midfield, which is something that we struggled with. And I thought that. But yeah, Liverpool were poor in that first half. But even though Liverpool were poor in that first half, you'd seen versus Ipswich, you'd seen even the Leicester game, Liverpool weren't at their best. How Liverpool cannot be at their best in the first half, but they come out in the second half a different level of a new intensity. And I was very worried, because I was like, United have done really well, but you got to remember, we were 1-0 down at half time when we lost 7-0 to you guys. And particularly under Slot, you look better in the second half. And I thought that Liverpool were a lot better in the second half. Still nowhere near their best, but they were a lot better in the second half. But the problem with Liverpool was Trent was just his mind wasn't there today. He was positionally just out of it. And Dalot had his best game under Ruben Amorim today, because he was constantly getting down that left flank and causing problems. The Garnacho cross came from there. The Lucha goal came from there. I think Ruben Amorim saw that and exploited that in the second half, because we started to overload that. And I think that was where Liverpool were gettable today, defensively. And I think that Trent has improved defensively this season, and has had an all right good season. But today, he wasn't in it. And I think that gave us a big advantage because we've been really poor attacking down the left-hand side, and I was really happy with United attacking. But I thought Liverpool in general looked better in the second half. There was a 10-15 minute period where you gone 1-0 behind, where then you just started to control the game. You made it 1-1, penalty happened, you made it 2-1. I thought this is the inevitable. So I was really surprised that after you made it 2-1, you opened up a bit again. And maybe Slot, as soon as you make it 2-1, should have took Trent off and put Bradley on, who I think had a better game than Trent. Maybe Harvey Elliott could have come on earlier. Maybe Slot was late with his subs. But I was really happy as a Man United fan that actually we didn't let Liverpool control the game after going 2-1 up, which seems to happen in many cases, because even when we went 1-0 down, I was worried because I said Liverpool are that side that every time they go 1-0 down, so even though we went 1-0 up, I said Liverpool are one of those sides that even when they go 1-0 down, they always find a way to respond. And when you made it 2-1 through the Salah penalty, I was like, oh, is this the Southampton game? Is this the other game where they find a way? So as a United fan, I was really glad you didn't find a way. But I have to say, McAllister was fantastic today. He was your standout player in the first half. Him and Szoboszlai really stepped up. Not him and Szoboszlai, him and Gakpo really stepped up in the second half. I thought his movement, his passing, his intensity caused United problems as well. I thought Konate was solid. But as I said, I think Liverpool went 2-1 up and they switched off again, which was lucky for us. I think Man United played well, and I'm as a United fan, I think we deserved the draw out of that game. I get why the penalty was given, but I was frustrated because it was unlucky for De Ligt. One of those games to forget for De Ligt, one of those games to forget for someone like Trent. And I was very worried going into this game because I thought, if Kwanzaa plays, he's been a bit shaky this season, he might be gettable. So having Konate back in was a bit worrying for me. They kept Højlund quiet, but I thought the Konate and Van Dijk themselves had a good game, but I thought Liverpool were gettable out wide today. I think Robertson was better, but he's not been anywhere near his best this season. I think Liverpool need to address left back. But Curtis Jones didn't have his best game. He's been very good lately, but it wasn't a game for Curtis Jones. He couldn't impose himself the same way Man Utd did and get on the ball and control it like he normally does. I think it was more of a game where Szoboszlai would have been better suited. But despite Liverpool being nowhere near their best, I still think they win the league. I do. And Arsenal are 6 points behind. And the reason I think Liverpool win the league, despite not being their best, and I'm going to talk about McAllister in a second, is because I look at Arsenal, I look at Chelsea, Manchester City's too far behind, Nottingham Forest aren't going to do it. I look at all the competition, I say, despite Liverpool being not great today, they're head and shoulders above Arsenal still. When you think of the Gakpos, the Salahs, the McAllisters, they seem to have that extra bit of quality over Liverpool and those game winners. And I think than Arsenal. And I think Arsenal with Saka out and with the injuries, if Arsenal don't bring in an attacker, they don't have that cutting edge in the final third that Liverpool do. And sadly, I don't want Arsenal to win the league, but sadly I can't see Arsenal catching Liverpool, and I still think, Liverpool will comfortably win the league. And I think Liverpool are in a position where they'll probably be annoyed with the point, given the fact that it's Man United. You guys went 2-1 up and we've been absolutely atrocious lately. I'm assuming you guys will be quite upset with the point, but a point actually on paper isn't a bad result for Liverpool. You're going to drop points here and there. Newcastle's game, you might drop points. In United's game, you might drop points. And Arsenal's a game where you're happy to get a point because they won't gain any ground on you. I think the fact that you're 6 points clear of a game in hand, and I think you've got better goal difference, and you could go 9 points clear with better goal difference, which is like 10 points clear. I think you're in a position where you can afford to drop points and you don't even need to worry. And that's the thing that annoys me. The advantage that Liverpool have on the top of the league is that they can drop points and they don't even need to worry. Now, the man of the match today was McAllister. 100% final third pass accuracy, 12 out of 12. His ability to break the lines, pick up that pass, find the runner was fantastic today. 7 duels won, one of the best duelers in the league. 6 times possession won, 5 touches in the opposition's box, 4 shots, 3 successful take-ons, 2 chances created, 2 tackles, 1 assist. Almost scored as well with his movement. He was causing us problems. He was the one player that I think really stood out for Liverpool in what was probably a poor half for them. He was ticking, he was making things happen, he was running, he was bringing a different level of intensity off the ball. He was finding the pockets of space between the United defensive and midfield line, which other teams have exploited a lot this season, which Liverpool didn't as much as I thought they would today. And he was also sort of exploiting the weaknesses, making the runs. Salah played a really good ball into him. I thought he was fantastic today, and I think the big problem Man United have is the back five isn't always in sync and they're not always in line with each other, and McAllister was able to get between the lines, get between the space, receive the ball, play that pass and make it difficult for United. I think he was the best player. I felt that every pass was spot on that he had. He was everywhere. He was making tackles. He was making passes. He was winning the ball back. I felt that it was spot on. He obviously made the late runs into the box, exploited the space between United, got the assist, got between the lines. He touches the ball well, can turn out of the press, is very press resistant, very good under the press, and is definitely definitely a top 3 player in terms of duelling in the Premier League. Probably one of the most underrated players in the league, because I'm looking at everybody's team of the season. I think it's difficult with Caicedo, Gravenberch, Kulusevski, Cole Palmer, how good they've been in midfield. But McAllister's been easily, close to making Premier League team of the season with how good he's been lately. Winning back the ball, resisting the press, covering the ground, can break lines. He has everything you want. Ball winner, press resistant, ground coverage, athleticism, technical abilities, breaking lines, ability to find space, draw out defenders, create chances, has the IQ, and he's been consistently good. I think he started a bit slower this season. Last year he was definitely their best player, but he's looked really, really good again. And then Gakpo, big moment for me. Gakpo has elements of Rashford when Rashford was good in him. Do you know what I mean? In terms of being that left winger that's a bit more taller, a bit more physical, can cut in, can shoot, can score, and seems to perform in those big games and find those winning moments, a bit like Rashford did when he was good. And Cody Gakpo's been unbelievable this season. As Doogie said here, he scored the opener versus City and equaliser versus Brighton and Leicester in games they went on to win. He scored the equaliser versus Fulham. He scored the equaliser today. He's scoring goals that when Liverpool are coming from behind or coming from equal positions, he's getting them back into like a winning game state or an equal game state, which gives them momentum, which are big goals to score, because it's almost harder to score when your team is trailing or 0-0, because the opposition you're playing are playing such a low block, whereas when you're 1-0 up, the game opens up a bit. And Cody Gakpo has been very good at getting those chances and being a game winner. And again, another reason why I think Liverpool win the league is Gakpo is a game winner. He's an absolute game winner. Trossard off the bench could do that for Arsenal, but Gakpo's one of those players that he wins you games, and I don't think Arsenal have enough of that. And if you look at Cody Gakpo here, 12 goals and 4 assists in all comps for Liverpool. Goal versus Real Madrid, goal versus City, goal versus Fulham, goal and assist versus Leicester, goal versus United. This is his last 5 home games. He's in some form, and I went with Diaz in FPL over Gakpo, and I'm kind of annoyed I didn't go with Gakpo. Anyway, let's dive into Cody Gakpo as well, the consistency, playing well. And he's obviously the one thing that Slot's done well is with Gakpo and Gravenberch is he's utilised their profiles correctly to get the best out of them. And Cody Gakpo is a left winger, and what a game he had. So let's talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold, because he was probably the poorest player on the field today. Now, I've seen some tweets saying, get Trent out my club, sell him, take the 20 million now. His head's not here. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't care. Trent's head looked like it was in Madrid today, but I think that's a bit of an overreaction. I thought Trent's head wasn't fully there today. He looked like he's in Madrid. He had a poor game, but he had a poor game against United a couple of years ago. We called it the Rashford game. Every now and then, Trent will have a game where he's not his best, because sometimes he can be a defensive liability, despite, I'd say, improving a lot this season. For me, I reckon Trent could show up in your next 3 games and put in like 9 out of 10 performances, and I think the narrative would change. I think with Trent, obviously, the Real Madrid situation, the speculation around him in his future, and then him dropping a bad performance, not just to anyone, but to Manchester United, where he didn't look like 100% in it or like he was given 100%, and he was caught out of position. He was a liability today. I understand Liverpool fans' frustration, but if I'm you guys, I keep Trent to the end of the season. He's still a top player. He had a crap game today. He was a liability. But I keep him to the end of the season, even though he'll go on a free, because you're 6 points clear, maybe 9 points if you win your game in hand. You're going to need Trent till the end of the season. I think Conor Bradley's great, but if he gets injured, you're in trouble. So I thought there was a bit of an overreaction on Trent today, but he was poor. But I think Slot described this well. It's clear that Trent had some difficult moments, but that is also for him, not for the first time. I think the majority of the games he played for this club, they were very good, but I can't believe if people tell me that he's never played a bad game for the club. He said Arne Slot's basically saying he didn't have a good game today, but he is good most of the time. Every now and then, good players have a bad game, and that was Trent today. And probably the timing of it with the Real Madrid situation is obviously not helping, and I can understand frustration. He was poor today, but Curtis Jones, who's been very good lately, had a poor game today. So it was just one of those off days for Trent. Anyway, Liverpool fans, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you very much for watching this review. If you want my Man United perspective on it, that is over on Alice Talks Football. See you next time. Bye.